Here we are. Zeebs is on. His name on screen is Boulanger.
Hey
There
guys,
he
sorry.
is.
Sorry, I'm
All right,
Hello.
late.
pal.
How
How
are
are
you?
you getting on? Sorry, I was just off the training park and I rushed home, so I'm sorry.
Well, look, we'll move on to the game that we've wanted to talk about. So obviously Ireland did an absolute job on England in Dublin on Saturday, and England now look to be finishing fifth place. So after a great performance against France the week previous, England were pretty much poor in every facet of Saturday's game. Jack, how surprised were you by this?
Useless.
Oh, what was the question?
How surprised were you by how bad England were?
It's been tough. It has been a tough one for England. You can't go away from that. I know it would be very, very different how the boys would be talking in camp to how it looks from the outside. We obviously didn't get off to the best of starts either, but I think it is very, very simple. We did lose those games, but England are not a bad team. We don't have bad players. We actually have very, very good players, and it's just unfortunately that it didn't go with us this time. I think penalties. I think a lot of people say it. I think penalties are definitely the biggest thing that we need to work on as a team, and I'm sure they were saying that as well. Like Jamie said, at the start, you can change a game very, very easily by a couple of penalties. It can swing a whole game, especially international. You rarely see over 4 tries in a game. It's always decided by 1 or 2 or a few points. So, if you're giving away 7, 8 penalties in one of the halves, you're going to be pinned in your 22. Pressure's going to build. And at the end of the day, every team you play against are going to be good at that level, and they're going to score, and they're going to know how to score. So, I don't think England helped themselves at all. But there were good signs of it as well. When England started running the ball a little bit more, and we played with ball in hand, we looked dangerous. We had some good spells, but no, I'm pretty sure it's a bit of another building phase for the team, and it's one they'll definitely learn from.
Is it time for a shake up to the English squad, do you think?
I hope not, because I want to play again. So
Yeah,
You've been
get
out for a
Jack
while,
back
so
in. That's what they're
chunk
missing.
you back in.
They're missing me. They're missing me.
That's
it.
the reason. There we go.
No, I don't know. I think there obviously are. The Premiership is a very, very good league, and I think there's some class players that aren't there. But at the end of the day, there's some class players that are in that squad that we know are class. Billy V would hold his hands up straight away and see, he's not had the best of tournaments, but we know that everyone knows watching, everyone knows that played with him, that he is a world-class player still. So you're never going to be able to drop someone like that. Owen Farrell, George Ford, Ben Young's like this. Everyone knows they're very, very good players. So I just think it was a bad stage for the lads that are playing, and I'm there are players that could be in there that would do a job as well, but there are players that have earned their stripes there that we know that can still do a good job.
And it's not like you have a very your age profile. The squad isn't an old team. Like you have a lot of youth and quality in there. I'd agree with you. And in between World Cups, teams' form always fluctuates a little bit. You can never be on it, every campaign in between World Cups. So I'd agree with you. I don't think you need to change a massive amount. I think you're an unbelievably dangerous team, and when you click, you're one of the best teams in the world. I've seen getting to a World Cup final, so get you back in there and you're good to go.
I hope so, mate.
Exactly. That's the answer. That's the answer.
I just need 80 minutes of rugby, mate, and I'll be happy again.
Yeah.
So, Jack, question to you. You mentioned, you talked about you believe in a Polis, Farrell, Youngs, and you said you're never going to drop players like that. See, I disagree with you. Where is the pressure on those guys? Because, we've all been in test environments. When you're competing for a jersey, it brings out the best of you, and your teammates will tell you it brings out the best in them as well. Getting a Sam Simmons, getting a Marcus Smith in that squad to shake things up, do you think that would have a positive effect on the environment? So those lads feel under pressure. They feel under pressure for their jerseys. Because for me, watching as a Welshman, I watch them from the outside, it doesn't feel like those lads are under pressure for their positions.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is different. Like every player is different. Right? Every player, you do get the best from someone with someone just being on your heels. Someone being just behind you ready to take your shirt, but then other boys do like that almost trust of you will go through different stages, but I'll back you, I'll put you out there, I'll give you your chance to play well again. I think that does come from your side of your effort and what you put in. The coaches see you in training, and if you're if you're like that during training, during the week, you're not pushing yourself in the gym, you're not pushing yourself recovery, you're not pushing yourself on the field training. No, I think that's definitely maybe a sign that someone needs to come in and maybe give you a bit of a kick up the ass. But at the same time, it's not always going to happen to you on the field. But if you're trying all the time, then it's a bit different. But yeah, I think when you're saying with boys like that, like you said, Simmer, he 100% knows what he needs to be doing. Pretty much exactly what he's doing now. So all,
yeah, I was going to say, can he do much more?
Yeah.
All those boys.
Jack, do you know if Eddie's been in contact with Sam Simmons at all?
Yeah, he has. I think he has. Again, I don't really speak too much to them, but I know he's had a couple of phone calls, and I know he's definitely knocking on the door, and he's very close to being there. But again, I think Eddie's pretty straightforward of what he needs to do. He knows that there are other boys just in front of him. But in terms of Simmer, what he needs to do, he knows that he just needs to carry on playing well for us and doing what he's doing, because everyone watching knows that what he's doing is class. Our coaches know it. He's winning games by himself sometimes for us. So when you start trying to change stuff, trying to please other people as well to try and get yourself in there, it's a bit different. But with what he's doing, I know he's very close, but he just kind of almost needs to just not drop off. He just needs to keep going.
I can't bet on rugby, but I think he's a smart bet for the Lions tour.
Sam
Simmons.
You've got a good feeling about him, haven't you?
100%.
I rate him. I think he's a wonderful rugby player, and it would not surprise me one bit if Gats picks him ahead of Billy for the Lions.
But I'd have him starting, like straight into the starting 15. Like his form for the last year and a half has been outrageous,
He's unbelievable. He does some stuff like even in training, you're like, he does some stuff that a back row shouldn't be able to do. Do you know what I mean? His feet he's got, his hands, he's very good. He's strong. Like, he's not the biggest of fellas, and he'd say that as well, but he's definitely one of the quickest. He's probably one of the quickest in our team. And he's definitely, when he's got his ball in his hand, he's not very gym strong. I know he wants to try and work on that a bit, but in terms of on the pitch, mate, he's ridiculous.
That's very good. Yeah. Watch his space. We'll see.
Yeah. But how bad would that look for Eddie if Sam did get the call up to the Lions squad ahead of his
Well, that's the thing. The game is about opinion. Like, I think when you get a bit older in your career, you realise that more and more. The game is all about opinions of players, us as players, opinions of coaches probably matter more, because whether they pick you or not, the opinions of the press and the opinions of fans, it revolves around opinion. And, there's so many great players out there who have never played Test rugby because a coach doesn't rate them. There's so many brilliant players, I guess other players who have gone on to have really successful Test careers who weren't actually that good, like myself. So it's all on opinion. Like, you might be in favour, you might not be in favour. And at the minute, like, it's just, Eddie Jones, his opinion on Sam Simmons isn't a good one. It's not good enough to be in that England side. And it baffles a lot of people, but that's why Eddie Jones is in his job, and that's why he gets paid the money he does.